Everything is so microwave in our culture. We have short attention spans due to social media. We go through fast food. We eat on the go all the time. So it's no wonder why our relationships a lot of times are very in and out. In episode number 195 of Making the Case, we're talking about it. Do we have the mentality in order to sustain long-term relationships? Let's talk about it. Hey, what's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of Making the Case. I'm your host, Dr. Jacob Isom. We got two channel norms over here. One, we attack points in our people, and then two, we don't do all that cussing and derogatory stuff. We like to keep it professional over here. All right? Excuse me. So, we're talking about, do we have the mentality in order to sustain long-term relationships? Because one thing that I think we have to talk about and address is the fact that, yes, long-term relationships is always going to be the play for most of us, right? But are we successful in these long-term relationships? We know back in the days that a lot of people stayed together, one, because they really had no choice financially, and two, it was like, no, we didn't put in all these years, sweat equity, right? We might as well just ride it out, right? One of us gonna go soon, and then we ain't gonna have no choice but to be by ourselves. So I think nowadays with our modern mentality, with the age of social media and things of that nature, right? We just see a different perspective when it comes to relationships, because it's like we've seen what relationship was like 20, 30, 40 years ago, and most people are like, no, I don't want to live that life. So I think that's part of the reason why people are more, comfortable with shorter term relationships. And I'm talking about like from 6 months to, let's say, 2 years. Because to be honest with you, 2 years is really not a long time, right? To me, long term would be 3 years out. But even 3 to 5 years is still considered short term. If you really want to talk about long term, we're talking about a decade plus, right? That is some time put in, right? Or even we can start at 7 years, right? But many people are not getting to that point, whether marriage or in relationships, right? And it's because, of course, people got so many options, and people rather work and get money, and why would I go through something with this person that's getting on my nerves and stay with them, right? When I can kick them to the curb and, go get somebody else. And guess what? If they do that, I'm going to do the same thing. So, but one thing we got to understand is there's consequences to that lifestyle, into the revolving door of people, right? So, and we are witnessing it right now, right? That's where hookup culture comes from. That's where the whole idea of, feminism, of the aspect where it's like, we about to decenter men, and men ain't this and men ain't that, right? So there's ramifications to this short term hookup culture, to this short term that I'm gonna delay marriage and kids, and like there's ramifications to this, and we're seeing it right now, because most people would tell you dating is for the birds, and I wouldn't disagree, but we kind of know why. All right. So in this episode, we're gonna talk about it. Do we have the mentality to be in long-term relationships? Because of course you have to have that if you're going to be in something long-term, because hey, it's tough work. All right. So let's get into our first video I have for you right about now.
Sacrificing for the sake of your partner is not toxic or non-toxic. The only thing that makes it toxic or not is whether your partner is willing to do the same for you. And the best relationships are when I am willing to put someone ahead of me and they are willing to put me ahead of them. And when both of us prioritize the other person, then it's actually really healthy. It's great, because now you have someone who cares about you more than they care about themselves. And that person's like on your team. That's awesome. So you sacrificing for the sake of your partner is not toxic.
I will make one slight correction. But he's on the money, right? And this is how you know that you're ready for a long-term relationship or can sustain one, is that in your mind, you like, hey, I'm doing things to make sure they're comfortable, they're secure, there's this, there's that, right? And the other person is doing the same thing for you, right? That is the reciprocity. That is the balance. That is what two people are supposed to be doing if they agree to be in this companionship, this relationship, right? But I wouldn't say that, well, I'm putting this person ahead of me, right? I would say that I'm being considerate of this other person being in my life. That is what I would say, right? Because you shouldn't put anyone ahead of you, right? You always come first. But the beautiful thing about it is that you can always come first, but you can also arrange your life and have your way of thinking to be like, I'm making sure you good because I'm already secure in myself and I know what it is that I need and I want, but I've already taken care of me. Now let me take care of you. That's how it should be. All right. That was a great point he made. Great conversation. Let's go to the next.
Truth, if you're going to have a long-term relationship with somebody, this is something people don't talk about ever, but I'll say it. You better stay attracted to them. You better have physical intimacy with them. And if you don't maintain that part of your relationship, like you keep dating, like, man, you start keeping it spicy all the time, physically, I'm talking about. What starts to happen over time is you start living with just your friend. And in most relationships, I have a lot of friends. I don't want to lay next to them every single day.
Yeah.
Right? I got a bunch of really good friends that are male and female, and I don't want to be married to them. And if you allow your spouse to turn into just your friend, that you lose that intimacy, that physical connection. So I think that's one part of your evaluation. How often do you touch each other? Do you hold each other's hands? At different stages of your relationship, physical intimacy can look different ways. I doubt at 80 years old, we're going to be doing what we do now, but I'm going to be dancing with her in the living room, I hope. You want to know the truth? If you're going to have a long...
he's absolutely 100% correct on that. And really, because first he brought up physical attraction, right? But then the important part is he eventually got to it, which is the extremely important part, which is intimacy, right? We're not talking about just sex, right? We're talking about, like you said, holding hands, putting your hand on someone's back, right? Soft little kisses, or think physical touch, right? Little subtle things, right? Hugs, right? It's so crucial and important. It's those little things that sustain a long-term relationship, right? Because eventually, most people get to the point where they're comfortable, right? They got the house, they got the cars, right? The material stuff is already out the way, right? Now, what is going to keep you satisfied and happy in this relationship? Well, I need to know that they care. I need to know that they still want me, right? So if you're gonna want to be in a long-term relationship or a marriage, you have to understand that you have to keep things on the up and up when it comes to the physical part, right? There has to be, hey, I got to make sure that they are desired. And this goes for men and women, because I think sometimes women drop the ball on this part, right? Sometimes, ladies, a man wants you to initiate sex sometimes. Yeah, we do. Okay? Let's get into our next clip.
The truth. If you're going to have a fulfilling long-term romantic relationship with somebody, you have to stay physically and emotionally attracted and connected to each other. You have to protect that physical and emotional intimacy. If you lose the intimacy, what happens is that one day you'll wake up next to someone who is just your best friend or just a great co-parent. And I'm not talking purely about sex. Physical and emotional intimacy, of course, will be expressed in different ways at different ages and different stages of a relationship. But ask yourself, how often do we hold hands? How often do we physically share a simple loving moment? How often do we share openly and vulnerably all the things we're afraid to say? And how often do we truly listen without judgment? Wherever you are in your relationship, take a moment now to think about how you can protect and nurture the intimacy with the person that you love. Do you want to know the truth?
And I want to show another clip of this because what I didn't touch on, what the last clip showed, is that it's going to look different, the different stages you're in, right? Clearly, when you're younger, there's going to be more sex, right? There's going to be more traveling, a lot more thrilling stuff that you're going to do together, right? Which can be intimate as long as you're together sharing the same space. Of course, when you get up in age, right, and you're moving a little less, you're traveling less, right, not having as much sex, right, it looks different, right? So, but still being like when I'm out and I see an older couple, uh, still holding hands or extremely close to each other, I'm like, man, like it just gives you hope. I ain't gonna lie. I wonder if you feel the same. Definitely let me know in the comments. It just gives me hope that man, like maybe this generation can get to a point where we having long lasting relationships where we can actually be together when we're that old, right? No, it's not easy, but as the last couple of videos just touched on, that physical intimacy is extremely important, right? Someone got to know that you care, that you're there for them, right? They have to know that. I got one more clip I want to show you.
You have a relationship. You have an expectation. That expectation means that you want something. Love, closeness, intimacy, partnership, business affiliation, you name it. Creates dependence. That dependence means that you have power, or I have power. If I expect something from you, I confer power on you. There will be moments when that power doesn't go in the direction that I want. The next thing is, what do you do with that disappointment? Hey, can I come tell you? I'm really disappointed. You let me down. I thought we were in this together. I trusted you. And you say, I see your point. Or do you say, what the hell are you talking about? You're just inventing this. You're delusional. That's how you do a relationship. It's really based on the repair.
It's how we heal the disappointment.
Yes. It's how you repair all these breaches.
Yeah.
The minute you have a relationship, you have an expectation.
That expectation. I don't think y'all understand how powerful what she just said is. And I do talk about it all the time. Like, expectations are so huge, particularly in the beginning, right? Because even in the dating phase and stage, we have expectations, right? Of where we think we should be going, how dating should look, right? What a man should be doing, what a woman should be doing, even though there's more things on a man or what he should be doing during the dating stage than a woman, right? And then don't talk about getting in a relationship, have a long-term relationship. There's even more expectations, right? But she's absolutely on the money. What you're going to do is you're going to constantly be let down. You're going to constantly have heartbreak, right? And once again, there's levels to this. There's going to be some small heartbreaks and small things that agitate you, but then there's going to be some big things, right? So how do you maintain and sustain a long-term relationship and keep going? Well, you got to have communication. You got to have trust. You got to have honesty. Those are the three pillars, foundational pillars of a relationship, right? If you have those three, then you should be able to work things through, right? But you also got to give your partner the benefit of the doubt, right? If you've been hurt so much in a relationship where everything they do, you feel like they're intentionally trying to hurt you, it's going to be hard to repair. It's going to be hard to repair. But it's a constant tinkering, going back and forth. Okay, I did good. Oh, I get rewarded in the treat. I did bad. Oh, I get punished. I get a consequence. That's how relationship works, young people and older people. Just saying, all right? All right, we're going to end the video on that now. I thought this was a great conversation, man. Let me know what you think about, do we have the mentality for a long-term relationship? What do you think about some things that came out in this video? I showed you the clips. I think these are really important things to think about if you're trying to maintain, sustain a relationship instead of just leaving and ending a relationship. Think about, do you have these relational skills in your repertoire? Okay? Because really, these are foundational. These are the things you should be doing from the beginning. And that's why I'm here to help people who are trying to start off on the right footing. I have my vetting cards coming real soon in the next month or two. So definitely going to let you know when those are complete and ready to be shipped out. So keep tuning in, sharing, comment, like. Come on, man. Let's get these subscribers up, man. All right. Hey, we got a lot more to do on this channel. But as always, I'm you are me, love always, love return. Remember, worst thing you can do is lie to yourself. We out. Deuces.